everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
In today's podcast, we're covering the 1998 movie Blade, which is in honor of the upcoming MCU take on the character, which they recently announced.
Yes. Eric Brooks, a.k.a. Blade, is half vampire, half human man.
Human man.
Who
Human
becomes
man.
protector of mortals while slaying vampires and uncovering the secret behind his mother's death. In this version, played by Wesley Snipes. In the new version, to be played by Mahershala Ali.
Yes. And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and notification bell to get updates on future podcasts and all the Paws videos.
Absolutely. This Blade, the original, the 98 version, was ahead of its time. It was a superhero movie, and I think when it first came out, people who were not comic book fans were not aware that this was not just a vampire movie. This was not a horror movie. This was not just,
run of the mill.
Right. He's a superhero. And I think it was kind of similar in terms to Van Helsing for people who didn't know that he's supposed to be a superhero.
Right.
Because a lot of times the two are compared.
Right. But this is a whole different thing. The only thing they have in common is they got monsters and vampires.
Exactly.
Just like you compare, let's say, apples and oranges. They may have that similar theme of the monsters, but Van Helsing is his own thing and Blade is his own thing, and they both have their own audience. And as such, Blade does have an audience. It did back then and still does now. People still begging for a Blade remake, and they finally got it.
Absolutely.
And now we're going to see how they're going to update this story, because the movie already did a pretty good job, especially with the first one, just starting with this trilogy.
I was going to say that too. Yeah, there was a trilogy, and as each movie progressed, I think the third one was played with production problems for various reasons we won't get into here. And by the time we get to the third movie, it was something really different than it started off with 1 and 2. But 1 really is a really good movie. If you've never seen Blade and you can get a DVD, or if you buy it, because I think that's the only way you're going to see it. I don't think it's on any streaming service, unfortunately.
Not that I know of. I haven't even heard about it being on a service. Not even for Disney Plus, even though they technically own it.
Now think about that. Why would this movie that truly, again, was ahead of its time, that really was one of the precursors of our theatrical superhero movies, like Supergirl, which were not as big as Superman.
Right.
Started at all. And that's not available really is just an oddity. I know that we've gotten to see all 3 because our uncle owns them on DVD. But you would think that with the following it still has, with the people who still love the movies, and when you talk about it online, they're talking about it like it's just really still one of the greatest things made. It's not available to watch or stream.
Right. And with this movie, it had its own mystery with it. It wasn't just rampant vampire hunting and slashing and stuff. There was a story. There were interesting characters. You found out what happened to the mother. There was a whole story with it. It wasn't just senseless violence or anything. It only came in at certain points in the movie when they had to fight off a ton of vampires. And they weren't just the classic Dracula thing. They were living amongst the people. It was sort of a little bit like Supernatural. Yeah. Where they have, you think, they're normal, and then they're not, and then they've been taking all these people. So it was a pretty interesting story, for back then, because we've seen that we have a lot of darker movies, superhero movies back then, and compared to what they make now, where it's just dark to push a message of something about society, and the other one just had a good story that happened to be dark. So they just made them differently with these types of dark movies.
Definitely. And another thing that marked this being very different from a lot of movies at that time, of course, as I mentioned, being a superhero movie, was the martial arts.
Right.
And the action scenes. And Wesley Snipes was genuinely a black belt, and you had other professionals who were in the movie who were also martial artists. And now that's pretty much not done, The people are trained and choreographed to do action scenes. With martial arts, sometimes they're digitally helped.
Right.
And sometimes they have stunt doubles.
Right.
But in here, the majority of people that were in the movie did their own stunts, which was unheard of at that time, which was another standout. And the choreographing for the fight scenes was really great. If you've never seen it, you will actually love the choreography of the fight scenes.
Right. And the thing about this movie as well is that it still had a sort of a staying power with Marvel and its fans. It wasn't as huge as Ghost Rider or some of the other characters that end up getting movies. But, you know, we showed up in one or two versions of the animated series, animated series, like for Spider-Man or something. Just suddenly he pops up as like, wait a minute, you exist still? And then you even had where he got his own anime series for like a mini series for like 13 episodes. They gave him an anime series. When, from what I hear, in their little experiment of making Marvel anime, Blade seemed to be the only one that was successful because its theme and action would fit best with anime.
Right. Which we have yet to see.
Right.
And in each movie, they had a person who at that time was a big blockbuster star, and this one was Chris Christopherson. He was his mentor in this movie. And pretty much in every movie that there are other people in, they don't make it.
Right? So, right? Look at Ghost Rider.
But this is really a great movie to watch if you like superheroes and if you are into the vampire genre.
Right.
It's great. There's no romanticism. So if you're looking for that, it's not going to be in here. But if you're looking for action, as you said, a great story, great choreographed action scenes, and just a stupendous superhero movie that really stands the test of time if you watch it, but seems to be forgotten about by the MCU until now.
You're right.
Then this is the
we're running out of characters. We kind of blew them all up, so we got to make some more. And really, we don't know what to think of the new one because, you know, they haven't made the movie yet or they haven't finished filming it, so we can't really jump to conclusions about this new actor playing him.
Well, first of all, he's a fantastic actor, so they picked a great choice because he played, he was on Luke Cage and he played...
Cottonmouth?
Yes, thank you, he played Cottonmouth. So, as far as the choice for the actor in the role, I think he's going to be fantastic. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. What I think the issue will be, are they going to stick to the source material? Are they going to keep true to what it is and not try to change it into something else that's lighter or lighthearted or
modernized?
Right. Or that fits what they think the idea of the MCU should be.
Right.
Now, it's got to stick to the original source material. It's got to be what it was originally in order to have staying power and for fans of the original like myself to like it.
Right. And one thing you definitely got to be concerned about, like you said, the story, is that there's a trend with the recent Marvel comics when they have a more, whether male or female leads, so they reach certain demographics. They like to have a theme where a group of people or villains or organizations you knew, like maybe Hydra or AIM or even the Skrulls, and you've been seeing them so far as this territorial, cataclysmic, evil organization or group of people. But then all of a sudden now, they have to write in one character that was different, one of them that was different from the rest. Like they recently had one about the Skrulls, they were fighting the Skrulls, and there was one female Skrull that was a kid, and she wasn't like the other Skrulls. She wanted to help people, and the Skrulls were not the bad guys for whatever reason. So if they do something like this for the vampires and say, well, not all the vampires are monsters wanting to drink people's blood, it's like, okay, then the whole movie falls apart.
Well, actually, you've already got that character. It's
Blade!
Right, it's Blade. He's that character, so you don't need another one.
Right.
He's the one that's stand out. He's the one that's different. He's the one that's not the bad guy. He's the one who is working to save humans all along. So it already got that. Now, if they decide to make a group to stand behind him, that's going to be really different.
Right. But, like, huh?
Yeah. But again, hopefully it sticks to the source material. I have no doubt that Ali can play this role very well, and I really do hope they allow Wesley Snipes to do a cameo.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Or play some role in here, no matter what it is.
Right.
So if you've seen Blade, let us know what you think in the comments below. Did you see the trilogy? Excited about its return? And if you haven't seen it, then try to do your best to get to see it. You absolutely will love this trilogy, and this first one is the best one of the three.
Right. And be sure to like, subscribe, click the notification bell to get updates on future podcasts and all the pause videos.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for watching our Mouth Entertainment.
And Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.